This is the Sweetroll, a famous pastry treat found all across Skyrim. It's my favorite food in any video game ever. It's like a mountainous muffin, but it also has a donut hole, but it also has like icing sugar on top, like a cinnamon bun. Perfection. I guess it's technically a bundt cake, but no one knows what a bundt cake is. This humble cake is so woven into local culture that even the guards are asking about them, a testament to its place in Skyrim's folklore and everyday life. I'm also a bit unsure about the actual size of a sweet roll. Like here it looks like it takes up an entire dinner plate, but it also looks like it would fit in the palm of my hand. Let me know what size you think the sweet roll is in the comments section, please. And sweet rolls are just the beginning. Skyrim has a wide array of sweet desserts. Apples, for instance, are a staple fruit in Nord households and often find their way into apple pies and apple dumplings, bringing a taste both sweet and tart to the table. The Nords also bake rich treats like the boiled cream treat, a creamy glazed pastry found in almost every household. They also enjoy sugary confections such as the honey nut treat, a sticky nut-studded dough often skewered on a stick, a convenient sweet snack popular in many a meadery across Skyrim to accompany a chalice of blackbriar mead, which we will also be discussing in this video.
If you want to buy...
There are delicate fruit tarts as well. The Snowberry Crostata balances the extreme tartness of wild snowberries with a sweet pastry crust for a truly memorable dessert. A lot of that sweetness traces to the Golden Glow estate near Riften, a commercial apiary, a place where beehives are kept, that fed Blackbriar's mead kettles in every baker's pantry. And the Jazzbay Crostata uses the dark syrupy sweetness of Jazzbay grapes to create a moist, almost decadent pastry. Even the humble long taffy treat, though a bit more uncommon, can be found in Nordic children's bedrooms. A sweet, sticky treat that the kids and adults alike love. Some recipes show how outside influence have enhanced Skyrim's desserts. The lavender dumpling, for example, is a fragrant, sweet dumpling that uses local snowberries and lavender, plus a pinch of imported moon sugar, a traditional Khajiit sugar, to achieve that unique flavor. Khajiit caravans bring in moon sugar, which finds its way into Nord kitchens, sweetening their breads and pastries with a floral, sugar-rich flavor. Moon sugar also has some nefarious purposes, which we'll get to a little later. Life in Skyrim may be cold and dangerous, but I'll be damned if it isn't a little sweet too. And now I know what you're asking yourselves, but what about cheese? Before this man tells you about Skyrim's cheese, I need to quickly tell you about today's sponsor, Opera. Opera is my ideal browser, and it is super helpful when I'm putting together these videos. Firstly, we have Tab Islands, which lets me group tabs together by context. Making these videos requires a lot of food wikis open to cross-reference. But here I can just drag one tab over another and boom. Skyrim's dessert tab, cheese tab, and mead tab. Collapse them when I don't need them and expand them when I do. Order restored in Skyrim. Secondly, split screen. Instead of constantly switching windows, I can keep Skyrim's sweet roll recipe on one side and my script notes open on the other. I just drag the tab down to create it. Thirdly, the built-in player. I can access all of my streaming services from the player, detach it, float it, whatever I want, outside and inside of the browser window. It even pauses automatically if I start a video. And finally, themes. Opera lets you customize everything from colors and shaders to animated backgrounds and even sound effects. I also really like this dial that lets you choose the vibe of your color palette. The calming tones when I drag this over here does weirdly chill me out. So if you want a browser that actually makes sense for how you research or just, you know, browse, check out Opera with the link in the description and in the pinned comment. Thank you, Opera, for sponsoring today's video. Now this clown town is going to talk to you about Skyrim's cheese. What just happened? Skyrim's love of cheese runs deep, forming an essential part of the Nordic diet. The most common variety is Eidar cheese, a creamy, rich cheese popular throughout the province. Complementing Eidar is the goat's cheese, made from goats. Goat cheese wheels and wedges are found in nearly every village, a testament to Skyrim's herding culture. Hefty wheels of cows or goat's cheese often sit ready to be sliced and served with bread and mead. Not all Skyrim's cheese is ordinary, however. For the truly adventurous palate, there is Mammoth cheese, a rare and pungent cheese actually made by the giants. Only the most daring of souls would attempt to steal this from a giant's camp. But hey, let me know in the comments if you would milk a mammoth to get its cheese. This mammoth cheese is often found stored in large waxy bowls or giant sacks in the giant encampments. Skyrim's cheese repertoire even extends beyond the traditional. An elsewhere fondue is a hot melted cheese dish introduced from the Khajiit culinary tradition. That looks like a big bowl of hot coke. It blends a good Nord cheese, typically Eidar, a strong stock or ale, and a hit of moon sugar in a pot over the fire. The result is a sweet, spiced cheese fondue that is said to be wonderfully energizing. From wheels of plain goat cheese to rare spore-inoculated Solitude Eidar cheese aged in Blue Palace cellars. That's right, I read the books in Skyrim. Skyrim's cheeses range from everyday nourishment to prized regional treasures. Each one reflects a piece of the land's character, hearty, bold, and sometimes surprising. Dairy is a constant presence at the Nordic table. Yet it's in the warmth of a simmering pot where Skyrim's food truly defines its culture. Stews and soups are the foundation of daily life. The Nords have perfected a variety of stews and soups that are as hearty as they are simple. A prime example of this is the traditional apple cabbage stew. Its recipe is straightforward, just cabbage, apples, and seasoning in a broth, but the taste and warmth it provides evokes memories of home with each spoonful. Another staple is Horker stew, made from the fatty pink meat of the indigenous Horker. It's described as uncomplicated and wonderfully salty and served in a thin broth. Nords rarely have a stew without bread on the side. In fact, a chunk of crusty bread is practically mandatory with any Skyrim soup. The hardy climate and hard work of the Nordic life demands meals that fill the belly and keep one warm, and their stews deliver exactly that. Common farm vegetables like cabbage, potatoes, leeks, carrots, and gourds go into simple broths, yielding dishes such as cabbage soup, potato soup, and a wholesome vegetable soup. These meatless soups are easy to prepare and sustaining. When meat is available, Nords make richer stews like the beef stew or venison stew. Travelers along the coast or near the Great Lakes might favor clam chowder, a creamy soup of local clams prepared with milk, potatoes, and butter. Other regional recipes include the Horker and ash yam stew, a special stew enjoyed in Solsteam where Nord and Dark Elf influences mix chunks of Horker meat with the earthy ash yam vegetable. No matter the ingredients, these soups and stews are characterized by their simplicity. One-pot meals that can feed a hungry family or a meat hall of warriors. But where is all that meat coming from? Meat is a centerpiece of the Skyrim diet. The forests and valleys provide ample game. Venison from deer and elk is one of the most common meats, often roasted as a venison chop. Wild rabbits are snared for their lean meat, yielding rabbit haunches roasted over campfires. In the marshes and the woods, Nords hunt pheasants, and a pheasant breast cooked to a golden roast is a pleasing addition to any feast. These wild proteins supplement the meat from domesticated livestock. Skyrim small farms raise cattle for beef and milk, as well as goats for milk and goat legs that can be roasted. Even chickens in the yard contribute, providing the chicken breast meat for simple sautés, and rich chicken dumplings to stretch a meal further. The truly massive beasts of Skyrim also tempt the bravest hunters. None is more imposing than the Mammoth. Indeed, carving a mammoth steak from those giant beasts is a feat only the most fearless would attempt. On the other end of the size spectrum, even Skyrim's vermin can end up on a dinner plate. Skeevers, those large rat-like pests, and no, I'm not talking about Matt Healy, are occasionally skinned and roasted in desperate circumstances. Charred skeever meat on a stick can stave off starvation, though it's hardly a delicacy. The hardy Horkers of the northern coasts provide not just stew meat, but also a cured product known as Horker loaf, a dense, salted meatloaf that can last through long voyages. In the fishing villages, one might find mud crab legs, or fillets of slaughterfish seared over a fire. The cold waters also yield salmon, which Nords catch in abundance from rivers and hatcheries. Salmon steaks are grilled or baked, providing rich oils and nutrients for the Nord diet. Other fish include the Cyrodiilic spadetail, the Arctic grayling, and the river betty, a poisonous fish which you probably don't want to ingest. In Skyrim, practically any creature might be seen as potential sustenance. If a horse falls in battle, or a hunter is truly famished, even this meat can be harvested. There are even tales of dog meat consumed in times of extreme need. However, not all dishes are necessarily what the name suggests. The so-called spiced beef carries a darker truth. During Namira's Daedric quest, The Taste of Death, this spiced beef is revealed to be made from human flesh. A typical Nord pantry contains things like a sack of flour for baking breads and coating meats, jars of butter, a jug of milk, maybe some eggs of the chicken and slaughterfish varietal for breakfast, some potatoes, and some bread for cooking and drinking. These are the simple components that support the meals that keep Skyrim's folk strong. And to wash down all these hearty foods, Nords turn to their equally famous drinks. Chief among them is mead, a fermented honey wine that is the lifeblood of Nordic social life and celebration. Skyrim's two largest meaderies, Hunning Brew Meadery near Whiterun, its very name Hunning means honey, and Blackbriar Meadery in Riften, competed to produce the finest batches of this golden brew. However, after Hunning Brew's vats were poisoned and its owner disgraced, the meadery was quietly absorbed into the Blackbriar estate. What reads as a simple rivalry was in practice a hostile takeover. In taverns across the land, and even in the mythical Hall of Valor in Sovngarde, you'll find Nords clutching tankards of mead and toasting to glory, using mead and fellowship to mend their spirits. There are local variations of mead as well. One legendary brew from Helgen infused the mead with juniper berries. Ralof fondly remembered Vylod's mead with juniper berries from Helgen. And indeed, if one revisits the ruins of that town, it's still possible to find a few surviving bottles of Vylod's special juniper mead. These flavored meads show the creativity of Nord brewers, who are happy to experiment as long as the results get them drunk. And though mead may reign supreme, it's not the only drink in Skyrim. Nords also enjoy ales and wines, often imported from Cyrodiil or brewed in Skyrim's inns. But there's one unique local specialty that really stands out: spiced wine. In Solitude's bustling market, a Nord woman named Evet San runs a small stall known for a secret family recipe spiced wine. This spiced wine is warmed and mulled with spices designed to keep the cold at bay and warm the blood of those who drink it. Evet spice wine has a bit of a reputation. It's said to be so delicious that no one else in Skyrim even tries to make any in imitation. Its mix of fruit, spices, and wine embodies the taste of home and hearth for many Solitude residents. Yet not every beverage in Skyrim is as wholesome. Skooma, a dangerous derivative of Khajiit moon sugar, circulates through back alleys and caravans. It can be drunk or smoked through a water pipe, promising bursts of bliss so intense they hollow out everything else. Because of its narcotic grip, the Empire has banned skooma across many provinces, but prohibition has only fueled a thriving black market. Smugglers in Riften peddle it as casually as bread, and secret dens, from the Redwater Den in Skyrim to the infamous skooma houses of Cyrodiil, offer addicts a place to disappear. Whether it's a Blackbriar Reserve, a finer mead variant, or a plain bottle of Nord mead, the act of sharing a drink is an essential part of Skyrim's culture. Ultimately, the food of Skyrim ties together the people of this land in a way few other things can. In a time of civil strife and wandering dragons, a simple meal remains a source of comfort and unity. Friends and foes alike find common ground over a flagon of mead at a tavern, swapping stories with full bellies and a warm drink in hand. Each dish, from the humblest bread to the fanciest cheese, carries a bit of Skyrim's soul. Politics, kingdoms, empires may rise and fall, but the sound of bread breaking and mugs clinking is eternal. In Skyrim, as in our world, to eat together is to survive together. Bon appetit.